Hey everyone, I hope my camera's working. On behalf of the Rescuing Our Communities initiative to empower and help victims, I am Clayton. And I've been gone for a little while. You got to forgive me. Um, I've been somewhat unavailable, not really unavailable. I've just been trying to stay off of this platform or any platform in general, considering I was kind of under federal order not to talk about a certain incident that has now all blown up before the news, unfortunately. Horribly humiliating experience, I have to be honest, but unfortunately, I am a black man. And the only way black men get justice is by having the courage to stand up for themselves. Law enforcement doesn't give a damn about us. I just have to be honest. This is an experience that I've had for the last at least 5 years of my life as a victim of malicious prosecution, false arrest, and just I want to say, the mistake of pissing off the wrong women. I've made that mistake. I've been arrogant. I thought I was the man. I thought I could do whatever I want, people. And I had a few women show me, no, no, my man, you can't. And they went to war against me. About 5 years ago, my mother died. Horrible experience, people. Horrible experience. God, imagine finding your mother dead on a bedroom floor after you just spoke to her maybe 6 or 7 hours before that. My mother was full of life. You couldn't have told me the day that she died I was going to find her dead on, but it happened. Wasn't a good experience for me. I want to say emotionally. Definitely traumatized the living hell out of me, people. I'm going to be honest. I still have nightmares about the day I found my mother's body. But, people, it's something I had to deal with. As her son, I had to get it together quick after I found her body, after I broke down and literally sat there holding my dead mother for probably about an hour, just trying to figure out what to do because I didn't know what to do. My mother was the glue of my family. First thought in my head, once I got my senses together, was yo, I got to call my sister. She was my sister. I don't get along with my sister. My sister is not a good person. I just have to be honest. She's never been a good person. She's always been quite selfish and incredibly self centered, but she is my sister. And I'll be honest, I always wasn't the best brother. I could have been considered, people. I'll be honest. I was probably a bitch. I was emotional. I was rude. I was real disrespectful with my mouth. I had no problem totally shutting her down. You know what I'm saying? And I should have been more considerate for my kid sister growing up, but I wasn't. I wasn't considerate, but I always protected. I always wanted to protect my sister. I can recall fights with all types of people for messing with my sister, but we never had the best relationship, and that's the truth. So my mother passes away. I think to myself, yo, call your sister. But people, I'm in shock. I could barely hold my damn phone. I couldn't even type the code to my mother's iPhone, and I was so messed up. I give the phone to the new pastor of my mother's church because I was in shock. I couldn't remember the code. I couldn't open it. And, he was trying to be helpful. He tried to help me out. He manages to call my sister. Now, for years, my sister has blamed me saying some stuff to her on that phone, and I've been like, "You crazy? I didn't even talk to you." So me and this woman have been probably spoken, and me and my sister's probably spoken twice in 5 years. Twice. Don't like her. She don't like me. It is what it is. People, I don't really give a damn. But at the end of the day, I've always wanted to know what the heck she was talking about. So the funny part about it is, I was talking to someone a few months ago, and they was like, I remember when this guy called your sister and hung up on her. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "The night your mom died. Lamont called your sister and told her your mother died and just hung up and went upstairs." I thought that was kind of rude. And then it clicked to me, people. I was like, oh crap, he did call her. What the hell did he say to her? Because for years, this woman has been accusing me of saying something to her like, "Your mother's dead, get here now." And people, I couldn't even, when I first found my mom dead, I couldn't even utter the words that my mother was dead. It probably took me a year to be able to make this statement. Is to be able to make this statement. It took me years to be able to make it without crying, but in order to actually utter the words that she was dead, it took me a while. So I know I didn't tell my sister the night I found my mother's lifeless body that, "Yo, get here now, your mother's dead." That was this pastor. But this pastor is such a weak, corny, ashy bastard that he didn't even have the integrity to tell my sister this entire time she's been blaming me that he's the one who called her. So myself and my sister, people, I'm gonna get to the point because I know why I'm making this video to talk about my experience in the Diddy trial, but I'm leading to the story so people understand me before I get to the Diddy trial. So now I finally find out what my sister does. What happens with this guy? And I said, okay. Now all of this stuff blows up before the media. Voila, boom. Today I get a text message from my kid's sister, which I thought was odd, people, because I'm like, wow, I haven't heard from this chick in a while. Now all of a sudden you calling me. I'm not really fake, homie. I'm not one of them people. I believe when something's broke, don't when something ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Me and you don't need to talk, shorty. Go about your business. I don't fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. It works like that. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I'm before the media, so she probably wants to know what's going on because her brother is on TV. Now, we live in an age where the technological advances of our society have allowed us to be able to become better communicators. In the past, when you would have an argument with someone, you would have to pick up the phone and apologize to them, and they would have to pick up the phone. There was no way to send them a preliminary message if you had to call someone up and make a rough conversation, maybe someone you had stopped talking to, like a parent or something, you had to call them. But we don't live in those times anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a different time. We live in a time of text messages. So most people, when you something happens with you, you don't even have to disrespect them. Let's just say you have a falling out with a family member. You want to call them, but you don't want to call them because you don't know how they're going to respond. The first thing you're going to do nowadays in the society we live in, forgive me, everyone, I'm trying to find something really quick. I just don't know why I can't because I just had it. When you want to do something, you say, you know something, let me send this person a text message. Now, me personally, if I've had problems with people in the past, which I have, many people, and I know I need to apologize to them, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out and I'm going to send you a text message because I want to warm you up to the fact that we're about to communicate, especially if I know that I might be wrong. So I'm going to send you a message, something to the effect like, "Hey, what's going on? I know we don't really speak, but I'd like to talk about a few things. I was wrong, you were wrong, whoever was wrong. I think we should talk first." And I'm going to see if that person's receptive to even receiving my communication. And if they respond and say yes, I'm going to ask for a number if I don't have it or send them my number. "Listen, I would really like to talk. I need to apologize to you for whatever it might be. Today I get a text message from my sister with a message that says, "Call me," in a phone number. I look at it, and at first I thought to myself I was going to call it. But then I said to myself, I said, "Fuck no, this is a command. Why would I call her off of a command?" Nah, people, I ain't talked to you in 2, 3 years. So you see, I'm going through something before the media. And instead of you trying to send a message first to at least warm your brother's heart to the fact that you're contacting him after 2 years, people, I haven't spoke to this chick. You send me a command to call you at a phone number. I think I'll pass, shorty. Because people, in life, we don't have time for people who hurt us. And people who hurt you and don't have this People who hurt you and feel too superior to apologize to you are not worth your time. When my mother died, my sister allowed me to pay for my mother's entire crypt ornamentation by myself. She deaded me on the whole bill. My mother, the cleaning out of her house, the storage of her late belongings. I've paid that bill for 5 years, people. My sister has not paid a freaking dime. She is a complete scumbag, but she's talked a bunch of crap about me. Um, she done a lot of things to me, people, and it was messed up. She even put an order of protection on me after my mother died, lying, saying I tried to run her down. People, I was on crutches. I had one leg. This woman went to the police and lied on me and told them I tried to run her down and beat her up. And because the police are the people who they are, they actually put an order of protection on me. So, people, right after my mother died, I was fighting a bullshit lie of an order of protection that my only sister put on me to hurt me because I didn't like her husband. People, I have dealt with women who do malicious things to hurt me for at least a decade, people. My own blood sister lied on me to the cops after my mother died to jam me up in family court for a year because I told her the truth about her husband who had a baby on her less than a year after we found our mother dead on the floor, which means that he was cheating on her the entire time. I don't say that to embarrass her, but I say that to share with my audience that I am a victim of the malicious prosecution and the abuse of the judicial system by women who choose to victimize men by making this process of judiciary a weapon, filing false order of protections, filing false petitions, filing false police reports. I have been a victim of this for a while. Now, when I was an angrier, dumber black man, I would rage against the machine and claim it was all racism. But people are much more wiser now. And I realize even though it is racism, it's deeper than that. It's a systematic oppression, people. It's a systematic creation by people who choose to use these tools to oppress people they choose to oppress, like lower classes of people, minorities, single fathers, whatever it might be, people. It's not just black people. And my eyes have been open to that over the last, I want to say, 2 years. I don't really think it's a race thing, even though race is a part of it. It's not just a race thing, it's far bigger than that. So, people, like I said, this has been going on in my life for years, where people have lied to law enforcement and the family courts to put orders of protection on me because, people, it's easy. Once someone gets an order of protection on you, they can use it as a tool to get you arrested when you piss them off. I've dealt with this for at least the last decade of my life. I happen to date a woman who lived on Staten Island, unfortunately, and I met this woman at my mother's funeral, which is the really worst part about it. That something so traumatic for me for losing somebody I love, I would meet probably the person who would become the most evil person I have ever met in my life is my ex-girlfriend, who I currently have an order of protection against. She's a bitter liar, people. She has filed 50 false police reports of me, about 50 between the states of New York and New Jersey in the last 3 years, people. I want to say it's almost 4 years now. Why? People, because I broke up with her, because I hurt her and I broke her heart by ending a relationship in a way that she didn't feel was appropriate. So what did she do, people, when I hurt her? She started to lie on me to law enforcement and accuse me of domestic violence. Now, I had never hit her, people. I had never tried to hurt her. We had some domestic arguments, but we had arguments because of things she was doing. We were arguing with each other. We were cursing at each other. Now, am I saying it's right? Hell no, it's not right. But people, I wasn't trying to hurt my ex-girlfriend, then current girlfriend, by arguing with her because couldn't stand up to her family. But this is the vengeance that was in this woman's heart, that she was so bitter that I stood up and said, listen, I'm not living like this. I'm not living with a woman who can't stand up to her mother at 30 something years old. Frick that. I'm out. Now I have to be an enemy. Now she has to tell all the women she knows that I beat her, that I abused her, people. She destroyed my life in the community where I grew up, people. People I know my whole life hate me now because I went to war with them when I found out that they chose this girl's side over giving a damn about me enough to make a phone call, people. And I wasn't wrong for that. Some of those people out there who watch me in the shadows, the Dana Walker Boyds, the Camilla Hanks, and these are people within the local community I used to live, Staten Island, the place that my mother started the charity behind me. These are people who help these people, this woman, try to set me up. They wouldn't even They wouldn't even utilize their connections with the DA who they knew was after me because this girl was friends with the DA. Like I know I don't get it, bro. I've always wondered since this was going on that she was sleeping with the DA because I can't figure out for the life of me why this man would have sacrificed the integrity of his office for something that he knew was a lie. But people, that's exactly what this racist scum district attorney on Staten Island, Michael McMahon, did to Clayton Howard. I won an order of protection against my ex-girlfriend in Essex County, New Jersey, my audience on December 1st of the year 2022. 4 days later, excuse me, my ex girlfriend walked into a precinct in Staten Island, the 120 precinct, and told the 120 precinct that all the allegations that she had just been found liable for in the state of New Jersey were a lie and that I filed a false report on her. Now, people, she lost. She had a valid, active, final, lifetime. It does not expire, audience. That's how serious this was order of restraining order against her, which protected myself and my only daughter, who she most certainly attacked in a angry, jealous rage. People, the girl wasn't too balanced, but people, I didn't want to hurt her. I wanted her to be free. I tried to the mother of my child and told the mother of my child nothing happened to the child. The girl didn't do nothing. This psycho chick goes and tells the mother of the child. So now the mother of the child comes at me, takes my daughter away from me. People, I didn't see my daughter for years because my ex girlfriend stalked me and destroyed my life on a lie of an allegation. Now, people, I hated this woman for a while. I really did. I hated this woman's guts. But I'm thankful for her now. And I'm going to tell you why. Because all the things she did to me taught me how to somewhat practice law. And it gave me a love for the law enough that I seriously went back to school to do it. Now, I'm not close to a lawyer. I'm super green, but people, I have basic skills now that I can get shit done when I need to. Forgive the profanity. So, for the last year and a half, I have been a cooperating witness for the Southern District of New York. Um, yeah, the Southern District of New York. That's exactly what it is. Agents from Homeland Security contacted me out of nowhere in December of 2003, like, hey, buddy, what's up? And I'm like, who's this? They're like, oh, it's the U.S. Attorney's Office. What? What the hell are you calling me for? People, they got my number from Cassie's lawyer. Cassie's lawyer gives them my number. The U.S. Attorney's Office reaches out to me. They want to interview me about something that happened about 10 years ago, which is when I worked as a mail provider for Cassandra Ventura. Um, People, I don't know what to do. It's the federal government. You really can't mess with the federal government, especially if you're broke, which at the time I was because of what my ex girlfriend and my child's mother was doing to me, using litigation to literally keep me bankrupt. I'm fighting cases, multiple cases in New Jersey, multiple cases in New York, due to these jealous women lying to the family courts and police just to hurt me because I hurt them. And this is a proven fact now, people. I'm actually suing the city of New York for it right now. um People, this is just a disgusting process what happened. So anyway, I ended up beating the case. I sued the city of New York. I'm dealing That's where I was at. I'm dealing with the Sean Combs incident. So for a year and a half, I'm going back and forth. They asked me basic questions the first interview about the abuse, the drugs, things like that. And it's not something I'm comfortable talking about, but I got to tell the truth. I said, yeah, there were a lot of drugs there. There was a lot of sex. How long did you used to have sex with her? I said, well, before they started giving me drugs and drugging me, maybe 12 hours, 18 hours. Wow, you used to have sex with her 12, 18 hours? Yeah, she's beautiful, dude. It was really not hard. She's a great looking woman. Um, and honestly, I had just got out of jail, people. It was like I can't say it was a blessing, but for a man who had just been packed and just been released and needed an opportunity, it wasn't something I put a lot of thought in, which I really should have put more thought into that situation because I would have saw things that I ended up seeing years later where I probably would have tried to get out sooner, but I didn't. Anyway, I date Cassie. I tell them all about dating Cassie. There's like, in the beginning, I didn't really remember a lot because it had been so long ago. It's not like I think about it every day. A lot of stuff happened, good and bad. After a while, you displace the bad stuff, and you displace a lot of stuff because you never think it's gonna come up again. This is Diddy. Like, okay, boom, he's living his life way over here. My association with them is done. This is over. But as I start going through the months and I start hearing some of Cassie's allegations, I'm like, wow, that didn't happen. But I didn't trip out on it. I'm just like, okay, well, that didn't happen, whatever. When I go to the government, I want to tell them that that's not what happened. Because I totally believe as evil as Diddy is, he does not deserve to be lied on. Anybody, nobody deserves to be lied on. No one deserves to be falsely accused, no matter how evil you think they are. You get somebody on the merit of what they've actually freaking done. You don't set them up. You don't create malicious narratives. You don't manipulate stories. You don't do that to people. You get people for what they actually do. And it wouldn't have been hard to get Diddy for this. Diddy was guilty. He's been acquitted of three of the charges. He's been convicted of two. You know, it is what it is. But he was guilty. And I can tell you he was guilty for several reasons. I'm one of the people he sex trafficked and did this all to. They arranged for my travel. He personally gave me cash. He would call me and ask me where I was at in the process. He sat there and would masturbate in the corner, which was incredibly weird. People, this is the only reason I allowed Cassie to drug me the first time by giving me a little bit of drugs, because I would be so uncomfortable with Diddy in the corner, pupils dilated, jerking the hell off. Like, dude, what are you doing? It was creepy. So one day she drugs me, people, and it's pretty much over from there. Like after that experience, because of what the drug did, it kind of became routine because sex on ecstasy is different than regular sex, people. I'm not telling anybody that they should do it, but it's an experience that you don't forget. It makes regular sex like sex times 10. And this is what happened with me and this woman for I want to say 5 6 years. I would meet up with her, and for days we would have hot, passionate sex all over these 5-star hotel rooms while Diddy watched on the balcony, in the bathroom, on the bed. He never touched me. He made a few passes at me. He did some weird stuff like jerking off. He would watch kind of hard when she was servicing me, but he never touched me. So I tell the U.S. Attorney's Office all this, but they're focused on Diddy. They're like, yo, so what else did he do? I'm like, well, he did this, yeah, but Cassie used to do a lot of stuff. Diddy didn't even talk to me for the first 5 years, people. He really didn't mess with me and talk to me until Cassie overdosed in this hotel. When she overdosed and I held it down with him for the night, I didn't run on him. Even though I was on parole, people, I could have ran. I could have been like, "Yo, I don't want no part of a dead R&B singer in a small crackhead ass Holiday Inn in Long Island. I'm out of here." But I didn't run on him. I held it down. I hung out through the night. I tried to figure out a way to get her to wake up. I did figure out a way to get her to wake up. She woke up. Me and this dude is exhausted. He like, yo, bro, you my brother. Thank you, bro. You didn't run on me. You helped me out. You know who the hell I am. If they would have caught me in here with her, I said, yeah, I kind of got it, my man. I got you. And after that night, me and him was cool. We kind of built like a brotherly respect off the fact that I held him down and I didn't run on him. He gives me some bread. I'm going home. Shorty stops me. Yo, where you going, sugar dick? What are you talking about? I just woke up. Why would I want you to go home? I need that. What? Me and Diddy messed up. We like, how do you just overdosed? Like, I'm not trying to hear that, people. I'm exhausted. I want to go home. She's still coming at me like, yo, nah, I need that. I just woke up. So she's begging him. She's like, yo, come on, baby, please. Like, I just woke up. You can't be that tired. You've been up longer than this. And she's really talking to him to get me to stay. Finally, he says, all right, Clay, what you want to do? So now they put the ball in my court. People, that's super peer pressure. I got this dude Diddy. I got this R&B girl, Prince singer here, taking off her clothes, looking super sexy, talking about what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look like a homo if I leave. So people, I gotta hold it down. I gotta bust her out, and that's exactly what I did. He never made her. He never made her do that time, and I'm not lying on it. The U.S. Attorney's Office played me. They played me. They played me. They played me. But the sad part about it is, people, is I see the level of maturity I've reached myself because I'm really not mad. I've been played by law enforcement as a victim of women at every level of the judiciary, people. I've been set up on the municipal level in New Jersey. I've been completely ignored and had my victim rights ignored in superior courts of New York. I was framed in Staten Island by the Staten Island District Attorney's Office, people, and now the U.S. Attorney's Office, who knew I was a victim. And people, I'm going to be so real with my audience. I'm about to show y'all some shiznit. Watch this. So, if anyone's doubting the fact that the U.S. Attorney's Office had said I was a victim, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you an email right now between myself and attorneys that were provided to me by the U.S. Attorney witness again and show you that I was a victim. So let's expand this letter, and you can read like so. This is a letter between myself and a Ross Kramer, who was an attorney provided to me by the U.S. Attorney's Office when they appeared out of nowhere like Casper the Friendly Ghost to come question me about my involvement in the Sean Combs matter. I didn't have a federal attorney. I had John Rappaway of Staten Island fighting my criminal case against my psycho ex. He made the recommendation I contact the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office provides me this guy, Ross Kramer. Now I'm going to read you Ross's email. Jennifer and I will be speaking with prosecutors later today, and we will let you know how it goes. Now, people, I should have been part of the privy to those conversations as the actual witness, and they're supposed to protect my interests. But they were having ex parte conversations without me, even though they were not supposed to work for the government that provided them. People, how does that make sense? If they have my best interest at heart, why are they talking to the government behind my back if the government provided them to me? People, I had a problem with that. So here's the letter. Jennifer and I will be speaking with prosecutors later today, and we will let you know how that goes. One thing I wanted to clear up is that the government does see you as a victim. The term they use for a victim who may also testify as a victim witness, which is how they categorize you. They currently see you as a victim of the defendant's actions. Regarding Cassandra, in many cases, a victim can also be someone who engaged in criminal behavior. That is likely how they view Cassandra. She was victimized by the defendant, but she also took steps that endangered others, including you. I am going to reach out to Tyrone Blackburn, and try to set up a call. I think that Jennifer and I should speak with him to understand exactly what is his plan. My lawsuit that I was trying to file. And people, by the way, if you look at the top, I believe it's right hand side of the screen, you'll see Tuesday, February 8th, 2025, exactly 3 months before the Diddy trial. I'm going to see exactly what his plan. Obviously, it is completely your decision how you proceed in the civil matters. But I can foresee a situation where your choice may make it impossible for the government to proceed with you as a victim witness in the criminal case, which I think would not help your civil matters. That's why best practice is usually to wait for criminal case to play out before moving to allegations through civil complaints. We will keep you posted. Now, people, here's the important part of this. You can clearly see that by this attorney who was communicating with the U.S. attorney without me, I was a victim witness. The government knew I was a victim of Cassie and Diddy. I was a victim witness. So now, if I'm a victim witness, people, you just watched the trial go on for over 2 months. Why didn't you see me? I'm going to tell you why, people. Because let me help you out really quick. I hope I have this. I would like to show my audience another image. What did I save that as, people? I'm getting so old. My memory is getting bad. When I was younger, I had more hair. I was more popping. You know, I guess now I'm older. I'm older. I'm ugly, whatever. But I ain't a liar. That's for damn sure. And anyway, let's get to that point right now. Hold on a second. I think that is it. What did I do with this thing, people? I'm all over the place. What is this thing? I can't find this thing. Just bear with me 1 second, my audience. I'm looking for the title to this book, but I'm messing up today, people, because I really can't find it. Like, what the hell is up with me? Am I losing my mind? Hmm, it is so weird. Okay, I'm usually better than this, people. I don't know why I can't find this thing. I'm a little disappointed in myself. That is so weird. Okay, well, whatever. The reason that the government knew, I don't want to waste too much time sitting here looking for dumb crap, but the reason the government knew, people, is because of the book. I went in to meet them on May 5th. May 5th, 3 days before jury selection for the Diddy trial. I go in to meet them, and they say, "Hey, Mr. Howard, what's up? What's new?" And I said, "Hey, I wrote a book." And they was like, I said, "No." I said, "Hey, I wrote a manuscript." And he's like, "What do you mean a manuscript?" I said, "I wrote a manuscript about everything what happened." My lawyer jumps in and says, "No, he wrote a journal." I said, "I wrote a manuscript." And they was like, "Okay, journal manuscript." They went right over it. Um, I'm sitting there with my lawyer, and I said, "You know something, my friend?" I said, "I know you know something, Miss Comey." I said, "Hey, listen, you know how I feel about this situation. Now I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna tell the truth. But I'm not gonna lie for Cassie. I'm gonna tell the truth. If they ask me about what happened with me and Cassie, I will not lie for her." The woman looks me in the face and she says, You know something, Mr. Howard? We realize this has been really traumatic for you. We're going to do our best not to call you so you don't have to live the traumatic experience that you went through with Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs. Now, people, the second she said that, I looked it up and I said, really? So Cassie's not testifying either? She says, oh, she probably is. And I'm like, so my experience is more traumatic than hers, you're saying? Really? It's that bad? I, it's kind of hard to tell. You guys aren't charging her. And she says, well, like, we're going to figure it out. So then she interviews me. She takes me through the whole interview process. I'm there for probably, God, I was there for a while. I think I left there 3 or 4 o'clock that day. Me and my lawyer leave. People, that was the last time I heard from them. They never called me back again, people. And the reason they never called me back is because they knew I was going to talk about Cassie if I had been cross examined. Now, the way it works is like this: a witness can either hurt a defendant or help a defendant. But in my instance, I was kind of like a double edged sword in this prosecution. Because although I could easily help the government get a conviction if they did the right thing, they would have gotten this conviction. Diddy would be in jail for probably the rest of his life if they had made me and the actual victims of the crime, the male prostitutes, the actual victims. And I'm going to explain to you why, as someone who studies law and has read a bunch of RICO case law, excuse me, RICO case law and sex trafficking case law. In a sex trafficking prosecution, what the government will usually do, federal anyways, they'll get a pimp. And let's say a pimp has a stable of 10 women. They'll get that stable. They'll get 5 or as many of those women as they can. They'll lock that pimp up. They'll cut those girls' immunity deals. They'll clean up their dope habits, all their habits. They'll give them housing, all that. Clean up the hoes. Let the hoes live normal life so the hoes testify against the pimp. The pimp gets a hell of a lot of time in jail. They let the hoes go. They treat the hoes with dignity. They clean them up. They treat them with respect. This was a weird prosecution, people, because unfortunately, in this one, for them, the victims were actually minority males, most of us. And I don't think that these 6 white women could deal with the fact that the victims were minority men and create such a large scale appearance of minority male victimhood, really. We're going to say men in general. I don't think with the way the Me Too movement is that these women could have actually confidently put these men on the stand. And they can't say it's because the men were male prostitutes, because you put dope head white girls and Spanish girls and black head girls on the stand all the time, prostitutes to put pimps in jail. Why wouldn't you put clean, athletic, healthy men for the most part? I don't know what anybody's affliction is. Why would you not put them, men who can articulate themselves, who are not drug addicts, on the stand to truthfully talk about the encounters between Jane and Cassie? People, here's the reason why you only saw 2 male prostitutes in the Diddy trial. They put 2 male prostitutes up there with the weakest history, but with Diddy and Cassie. Daniel Phillip, he only had a couple of years with them. The Punisher only had a couple of years with them. Never got flown out of state. Never saw any domestic violence. Excuse me. Daniel Phillip heard something in the bedroom. Let me tell you about Clayton. Clayton saw Diddy punch Cassie in the chest. Clayton saw Diddy kick Cassie. Clayton saw Diddy not slap Cassie, like grab her and choke her up. Clayton has seen Diddy chase Cassie out of rooms. Clayton has heard Diddy verbally abuse the hell out of Cassie. Um, Clayton has seen a lot. Clayton impregnated Cassie. Clayton is a pretty significant player in the Diddy and Cassie love triangle scheme of sex trafficking men. Why would they not have called me, people? Because they knew I was going to talk about Cassie. See, people, I had enough integrity not to lie on Diddy. Even though I'm suing him, people, yes, I'm suing the man for what he actually did. This is why the complaint is so focused on Cassie, because Diddy would sit in the corner and watch. Diddy didn't really do anything in there. We had encounters, of course. He did threaten me a few times. One time he told Cassie to go get a gun, but she didn't go get it. But the fact that he told her is a threat. He did drug me. Um, he did some weird things. He would press me, but he would be pressing me for Shorty. He would press me for Cassie. He would press me as her man in the room to make sure she was safe, like a protector. People, this is the truth. I know you want to believe the man's a woman beating loser. Or a loser. He's not a loser. He can't be a loser. A woman beating psycho. But the truth of the matter is, He was her protector. The only time he became her offender is when she would disrespect him and she would emasculate him. She would try to laugh at him. Let's say I was smashing her out and then he tried to get up and run her in her behind me. I'm 3, 4 times his size. Not, well, I probably am 3, 4 times his size. But he would go and try to run up in after me like he was good too. And she would be like smirking and laughing. And I'm sitting in the corner laughing too. And he would see me laughing and be like, "Oh, you laughing?" Jump up and kick her, something like that. But it was never because she was in a situation. It was like, oh, go ahead and, satisfy his member. And she would be like, oh, or she would be hesitant and he would be like, go satisfy his. It was never that. Never. Truthfully speaking, Cassie was the good energy in the room, people. Me and Diddy didn't like each other. I didn't like that dude, especially when I first met him. I didn't know who he was. I thought he was a weirdo, bro. What type of man pays a man to sleep with a beautiful woman like this and sits in the corner and masturbates and watch him naked in baby oil? I said, yo, this dude is a weirdo. But people, Shorty was beautiful. Like I said, I just came home. They was paying me, and I needed a shot, people. I didn't want to sell rock no more, so I sold cock. Was I wrong? Yes, I shouldn't have sold no cock, but people selling cock is better than selling rock, people. Eventually, I was able to get a gig. I was able to get myself together more. And by the time that happened, unfortunately, my lifestyle put me in a situation where I still required their money. I learned who they were, and guess what happened, people? The worst thing that can happen to you, people, with people you like but you really don't know, is you get to know them and you realize that they messed up people. And that's what happened to me with Diddy and Cassie. Diddy was not a good person, and people. He was a drug addict, people. They say that often when we meet our heroes, we'll be disappointed. And I'm gonna be honest, Diddy was my hero until I got to know him. Dude is a drug addict, people. I learned a lot from Diddy too. I learned that you can be successful and be on drugs. Because this dude was high all day, sniffing ketamine, sniffing coke, popping mollies, popping e-pills, drinking, and he's making millions of dollars a day, people. I'm gonna be honest, I'm in awe of this guy now that I know everything that was going on. And I realized I'd really need some time management skills because this dude was doing it. But I know from being in these experiences that this was not this. They didn't do this as some type of. And I'm gonna be fair to them, even though this it is a scheme. It is a massive conspiracy scheme where they manipulated male prostitutes all over the country. But I don't think that that was their intent when they did it. And that sounds crazy. And I'm their victim. But I can say this because I'm mature enough and I'm well read enough now. I understand my situation and know what really happened. They didn't intend to do this for it to become some big felony type case. This was just something a freaky couple did together because the girl was a freak and she wanted to impress the guy she really wanted. And the guy was a freak and he had this young girl willing to do it. So he let her do it. He let her pop it open for a dude and she popped it open for a dude. And that's how Diddy and Cassie's relationship went for over a decade. He take her shopping. He spent $500,000, $100,000 on her. Shorty was living. She's bugging, people. Cassie loved the money. Cassie used to be in front of me sometimes naked in the bathroom in these hotels with her Rolex on, looking at me in the mirror. She'd take her hair out and do this. People, this girl is incredibly seductive. She's Jezebel from the Bible, people. She's the siren from Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, they talk about the sirens. And when you rode by the sirens in the ship, they would sing to you and they would lure you in. And when you got too close, I think they would turn you to stone or something like that. Cassie is the siren. Cassie would pull you in. She'd make you think she was normal, respectful, like you like her, so you trust her. People, I didn't sleep with Cassie unprotected for almost 2 years, people. It didn't just happen. I'm not some nasty guy who ran up there with this woman and ran up in a raw. No, people, I knew her for a while. She got me high. My inhibitions was down. She's a beautiful woman. I'm nailing her this night. She pushes up my abdomen, rolls it off. People, look how she look in the heat of the moment. Okay, I made a decision. That doesn't mean I'm nasty, people. This I was sleeping with this woman over a year. I didn't really do anything wrong, people, especially considering the fact I did not know the depth of the situation. I do now. I feel horribly disgusted. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel gross. I'm even mad that this girl used to passionately kiss me with her tongue and people were urinating in her mouth. I'm horribly disgusted by that. But people, what can I do? I can't do anything about it. The government knows she was involved. They just prosecuted this guy, trying to put him away for the rest of his life, gave this girl immunity, knowing she was a co-conspirator, people. My only chance to get any type of justice is a civil lawsuit. The only chance I had to tell my story and tell the truth was to tell every allegation that happened that I told the government in that complaint. And people, guess what? Now my story is being listened to. Now my truth is being told. but I had to learn how to do this. I had to get the skills myself and rely on my own ability to put that complaint together to effectively relay what happened to me with me and Cassie and Diddy. And I would have never have been able to do that if my ex girlfriend didn't stalk the hell out of me. So people, I can honestly say I can thank her because without her, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't be able at a point where I can probably fight these people back to an extent that I might lose. The government might destroy me. The black suits might be out my house right now in the Tahoe, the Grand Cherokee, whatever the hell they drive, waiting for me to come outside so they could get me. It's a probability, people, because I'm doing something that a lot of people lack the courage to do. I'm speaking up. I'm telling the truth because I come from a woman behind me who taught me to do that and not to be afraid just because people are in position. I'm not afraid because these people are federal prosecutors, because I did the right thing. I cooperated. I did what my government required of me when they came to me and basically leaned on me to do it. People, I didn't give them any trouble. I gave them the information they want. I worked my ass off to retrieve old phone numbers, to access iCloud accounts, to give them plane receipts. People, I did my part. Why did my government betray me? Why can I show an audience an email that shows you that I was a victim in this crime, yet I was never called? They never even called me to thank me for being part of a prosecution they messed up and totally dropped the ball on. Listen, Mr. Howard, we're sorry. We know we put you through a lot. We know it may have been traumatic that you went through this, and we called you and you had to relive this, and we forced you to remember it and put it together and structure it for us, and we lost, Mr. Howard. We're sorry. No, people, I'm a black man. I don't deserve that much respect because I bet you that they called Cassie. I bet you that they called Jane Doe. I bet you that they called Mia. I bet you that they called Brianna, people. I bet you they called all these women. But the guy that I just showed you an email about, that an attorney that they got for me is admitting that I was categorized as a victim and witness. People, nothing. Not even a thank you, people. And you know why? Because these six women don't respect the rights of minority men. They probably don't respect the rights of any men, but they damn sure don't respect the rights of minority men like me. So that's something I got to live with, people. It's something I got to deal with. I'm very disappointed. I was really impressed with these prosecutors. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were great women. I thought they were honest women, but the truth is they were not. They used me, they manipulated me, and when they were done with everything I could give them, they built their case off my information. They threw me out like a piece of trash. Unfortunately for them, people, I ain't fucking garbage, people. I'm a diamond in the rough, and I don't have no problem standing up to anybody who tries to play me, whatever your job might be. I can prove what I'm saying based on emails I have like that just shows you that I was a victim witness in the trial, people. So I'm not really worried too much about whatever happens to me, because if something happens to me at this point, everyone will know it be because I exposed this trial, and it'll be worth it for me, people. It'll be worth it on me to expose what the powers that be are willing to do to stop someone from telling the truth. I didn't want to stop Diddy's prosecution, people. I helped them. I was one of the people they relied on for almost a year and a half, people. Why would they not call me? Because the truth of Cassie would come out and they were afraid, people. My lawsuit would have been filed a year ago if it wasn't for Tyrone Blackburn, and I can prove that. Numerous instances over the last year and a half where I've asked Tyrone Blackburn to file that lawsuit, and he has not. I'm not filing it now because I'm trying to make trouble for Cassie. People, I've been trying to file the lawsuit. The Tyrone Blackburn didn't file a lawsuit. The one he just filed, that's what I was about to say, in Los Angeles, that Jane Doe is Cassie. I'm telling you, people. He's just not naming her because he doesn't want to give Diddy any credibility. But the other Jane Doe in his lawsuit is Cassie. He held back his lawsuits for Cassie because he didn't want anybody to think during the trial that Cassie was a co-conspirator. He wanted to help the government maintain their narrative that Cassie was the victim for his own selfish purposes, not even the government. It's because he has millions of dollars in contingency claims off clients that he's filed lawsuits for. So what he wants to do is he wants to make sure that he's convicted, so the collateral conviction gets him the civil claims. I get it. He's a businessman. But once he realized that my story differed so much, he should have realized there was a conflict of interest to represent me, because his primary purpose is a Diddy conviction. Tyrone was working for a Diddy conviction. He fabricated a motion to quash to hide the book from the defense, so they wouldn't read the book and realize that I was actually talking about what really happened. So he fabricates paper so that the defense doesn't get my book and actually submits an alternative document. Why would you do that? So I find out, I fire him. I cut him off, I block him, no more contact with this dude. I draft my own complaint. I think it took me maybe, I think I drafted that complaint in 3 days, 4 days, and then I filed it, people. And I let the chips fall with they may. I know the allegations are correct. I know the causes of action are correct. I know the structure of the complaint is compliant. That's all I need. I don't have to litigate it, people. Now that the complaint is filed and it's out there, you bet your ass by the end of the week I'm gonna have somebody to represent it if Cassie doesn't want to settle. But people, I only did this because this woman is lying. And instead of her admitting the truth of what really happened, she's trying to use this and turn it to something to make herself a victim, knowing damn well she was not innocent and not a victim in that situation. I'm the person who sat there not being able to get back to New York because she's telling me, you know something, I don't want you to leave. So if you don't stay another couple of hours, I'm not going to give you your plane ticket. So I got to stand there for 4 or 5 hours. And it's embarrassing as this is going to be to say, jerk my penis and keep sleeping with this girl because she's so high and fried off the ecstasy and Molly she's taking, she wants to have sex all day. She testified in the trial that she took drugs that would, I forgot the word she used. She testified in a trial that she took drugs that would disassociate her, that would make her black out. People, ecstasy and Molly don't make you black out. Ecstasy and Molly make you feel every sensation in your damn body when you take them during the sexual encounter. You don't black out at all. You get like Super Saiyan, super alert. Your skin and your nerves are alive, people. If you go in the cold air, it feels amazing. It's like all over your skin. Ecstasy, Molly are sensory drugs. They do not dull you. Cassie was lying. And if you really look through her testimony, people, she verifies every word I said. She talks about sleeping with someone on her period in her testimony. She talks about the fact that sleeping on her period. She says that she never did drugs while she was excuse me, while she was she always did drugs while she did these, people. That was a lie, people. She said Diddy made her have a freak off after she overdosed, people. That was another lie, people. That's wrong, people. Why would you let this girl go lie on that like this man, like go lie on this man like that? Excuse me, I'm getting tired. Instead of just telling the truth and giving her immunity, people, if they had made her tell the truth and gave her immunity, you know what would have happened? Did he be in jail for the rest of his life? She wouldn't look good, of course, but he would be in jail for the rest of his life because even though they didn't do this, I don't feel that this was like some master grand plan what they set up. Again, I think it was just a freaky couple who got freaky together. And when they broke up, Cassie used this because the truth is, Cassie got Diddy used to these freak offs. They used to do them all the time. So, of course, when he break up, and he lose his primary freak off partner, he gonna get another girl. That's where Jane came in. Cassie used to be the main ones he was doing freak offs with. You think them people spending 10 years together, he wasn't used to doing things a certain way, people? Come on, he was doing them with Cassie. Who was is no, people, we are not sheep. We are shepherds, people. We are intelligent people. Come on. Come on, people. I think there's no way you can think that for over 10 years this woman was forced to have sex with random men. There's no way you could think that she called the same guy for 8 years and that this guy is lying about the things he's telling you. I ain't gonna make too many more podcasts about this because I really don't want to talk about it. But people, we got to be clear on a couple of things. You can't victimize the man who decides to stand up for what is right and tell the truth. You can't do that. What you got to do is you got to hold the woman accountable who has lied to you because that's the biggest problem with the judiciary we face now is that law enforcement refuses to hold women who file false police reports accountable, who lie to prosecutors accountable, people, and that's wrong just for these people to get convictions. Come on, prosecutors and attorneys, you're supposed to hold yourself to a standard of ethics. You're supposed to be truthful. We rely on you to be the truthful people. And honestly, people, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of these attorneys is turning out to be bigger pieces of shit than criminals. And I've walked both lines. And I'm telling you, these attorneys are some MFers, people. They are some evil, calculating, cold ass people. But I respect it, people, because I see in what they do, what they create, how they're able to put people in prison on lies. People, this is wrong. So I fight against it. As a man, it happened to. Um, as a human being, people, I think it's wrong. They should not have done this. They should not have manipulated this information to make these co-conspirating women seem like the victims of this crime when they knew they had people like me and Edmund Laurent, who I definitely want to mention, with stories about women like Cassie. I'm pretty sure Jane got some out there. I'm pretty sure some guys out there with Jane. I'm positive of it, people. They just not coming forward because they're not me, people. I'm going to speak my truth This has happened to me for years, people. This is the only reason I have the balls and the courage to talk about this like this. People, I've been a victim of malicious prosecution and women lying on me for the last 5 years. Check my history, people. Check how many orders of protection I have against my ex. Yeah, she put orders of protection on me too, but that's what's called a retaliatory claim because I won. So she starts filing retaliatory police reports on me. The same thing with my child's mother, people. Unfortunately, I met some really bad women over the last couple of years, and they were petty, they were immature, and what petty, weak, immature women do that can't hurt men more powerful than them is they manipulate law enforcement to get you. And that's what Cassie did. Cassie manipulated the U.S. Attorney's Office to prosecute Sean Combs. The greatest houses of lies are built on structures of truth. And what that means is by putting a couple of the right foundation pieces in place that are truths, you can build a whole house that's a fucking lie on some truths. And that's what they did to you. They built Cassie's victimhood on me, on the fact that I was trafficked, on the fact that I had injuries and that I was saying something. And then they coupled the domestic violence to make you guys think that Cassie was a victim. Cassie was not a victim, people. On behalf of justice, people, and a mother who taught me to tell the truth, I am so thankful for her. And I wish I could see her, but I can't. One day, hopefully, people, I have so changed my life that maybe I'll be worthy of that. And we'll end up in the same place. I get to see her, and I get to apologize for being the horrible son I was when she was alive. Because I wasn't that great a son, but I know she knows I love them. And I just want to prove that. The only way we can prove that is to learn to be better people and assimilate to the people who we've lost. So I choose to tell the truth, people. I'm not going to sit back. I'm not going to let a Cassie lie. I'm not going to let a Francina lie. I'm not going to let nobody lie, especially on me if I know you're lying. I'm going to stand up and tell the truth. Um, on behalf of justice, people, in Operation Rock, in this 51-minute and 20-second broadcast, which is very good. Thank you for listening. We'll get back to the regular scheduled program. I want to say Thursday. We'll talk about, you know what, people? I'll walk you through a couple of RICO cases and we'll break apart what it actually takes to substantiate a real RICO in the next lesson. On behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, this is Clayton signing off. Thank you for listening.